Uh, we are live. We are live. Good afternoon slash evening, depending on where you are in the world. It may be a little good morning in there. Hey, everybody. We are so excited to have you here with us as we come to you with once again with another mastermind. My name is Kendra Pearson. I'll be your moderator this evening. Super excited about the topic that we're going to be discussing. It's such a timely topic for now, as 2020, we've survived thus far, and we're getting ready to head into these holidays, you guys. So it's going to be some great mastermind. We have some amazing coaches with us. If you're joining us, whether it's from Eventbrite or from our Reset for Success group, we want to welcome you guys here. Get prepared, grab your pen, your pencil, paper, get ready to be inspired, and get ready to share that inspiration with others. That's what I wanted you to do as we go through this evening. Our topics today are harmony and gratitude. We are going to be covering those two topics, and we can't wait to see what this excellent panel of coaches has to tell us today. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Just feel free, whether you're watching us with Zoom, feel free to ask any questions or make any comments in chat, and Facebook Live. Definitely feel free to make some comments there. We would love to see those, whether you're watching even in a replay, because guess what? The coaches are there and they are always dropping nuggets, and they would love to still respond to your questions. We're going to try our best to get to every question and to see every comment. Every comment matters. So let's go ahead and get started. We are excited to begin. So we are going to come to our first coach. I am coming as I see him across the screen. Miss Cheryl Mays. Miss Cheryl Mays, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, good evening. It is evening here where I am. So my name is Cheryl Mays, and I am the Chief Learning Officer for Rise and Shine CF, where we train for better leaders, better processes, and better employees. So I am excited to be here because I love this topic.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Cheryl. Coach Cheryl. I'm going to try to call you coaches because that's what you are. I always try to make sure I get that title in there because it's very important. You are awesome. And so Coach Jody Santangelo Ash.
Very good.
Did I do it right?
Awesome. Yay. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Jody Santangelo Ash. I'm a certified trainer and success coach. I love to help people create the positive change in their life. I have two signature programs. I love to talk about the law of attraction, and that simply is helping you attract more of what you want and less of the stuff that you don't want. And I love to teach and coach success principles, helping people get from where they are, get into action, set and achieve goals, and get to where they want to be. And I'm also the author of the book, Dynamic Affirmations. So welcome, everybody, and we're glad to have you here today. Or tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. And now we're moving along to Coach Tara Hall.
Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. My name is Tara Hall. I am the owner of Tara Hall Inspired Solutions, which is a training and development company where we customize leadership trainings as well as communication. And individuals that work with me can expect accountability, clarity, and confidence when it comes to their individuals, their teams, or their groups. So I love to work with individuals who are really looking forward to change and up-leveling where they are in their business or individually. So looking forward to the conversation tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And next, our Coach Whitney Wiley.
Hey, Kendra. Hi, everyone. I'm Whitney Wiley with Shifting into Action, and I am a organizational coach and consultant, helping my clients create workplaces and cultures where people love to work. And so I am super excited about this conversation about gratitude and boundaries, because I think it is the foundation for everything. So yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And last but certainly not least, Miss Gabby Abdel-Gardir.
Abdel-Gardir.
I did so good, you guys, in practice. I promise.
I know you're not the only one. A lot of people have issues. Some are good at it. Some they have difficulty pronouncing it. But anyway, yeah. So hi, I am Gabi Abdelgadir. I am a Success Principles coach, and I am a clutter clearing coach and a feng shui practitioner. I help people declutter their home, their mind, their time, and their relationships. Thank you.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I've always heard that if you have a cluttered home, then it's your mind is cluttered and it kind of reflects off. Yeah, so
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you.
that is awesome. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. And we are so glad that each of you could join us just to share some of your expertise as we go into these holidays and even as we still recover from what 2020 has to share with us, you know?
So, how about you, Kendra? How about you? Yeah, tell us about you. Well, we're so grateful to have you.
Yes, that gratitude. Yes, absolutely. My name is Kendra Pearson, as I mentioned prior, and I'm so excited that Miss Cheryl, Coach Cheryl Mays invited me to be a moderator of this amazing event. I'm so excited about it. I am actually a administrative virtual assistant. So my job is to help the small business owners to declutter and make harmony in their life. I like to say I sweat the small stuff so you don't have to. So my job is to allow you to be great. Go ahead out there and do the awesome things that you're meant to do. And I'll take those frivolous administrative tasks and make sure they get done because they're equally as important. So thank you guys for having me.
Awesome.
So excited to be here. And I can't wait to get into this awesome, what I'm sure is going to be an amazing conversation. So we are going to start out with speaking about harmony. And we had a great discussion actually right before we jumped online. And I wanted to bring it forward because it's so important in a time where sometimes words make all the difference, right? You could say tomato, you could say tomato. Neither one of them are actually wrong. But they mean, they can mean something different to someone else, or they, oh, you didn't say that correctly, and it's like, no, it can be similar. And it really comes down to what it means to you. So me and the ladies, we were discussing about harmony. I've heard harmony, we sang in 3-part harmony, shoo-doo, and but we also work to create harmony in our lives, I've heard. And then you hear about this work-life balance. And then we hear about rhythm, catching the rhythm, moving in a rhythm and going with the flow and, and all these wonderful terms that we use and they all can end up sounding different, but they can end up meaning the same thing to each of us. So I do want to go to the coaches, excuse me, and I would like you to tell me what's your word for one, because that means a lot, right? What the word means to you and how do you incorporate this rhythm, flow, work-life balance, harmony into your lives right now? And we'll start with Coach Whitney.
Oh, thank you, Kendra. So I am someone who actually believes it doesn't really matter what you call it. And so I have written a couple of pieces. I think ultimately the bottom line is that you have to, whether you call it work-life balance, harmony, integration, rhythm, flow, whatever, that it comes down to your values and your priorities. And when you understand who you are, what's important to you, then you will work to make sure that the things that are important to you get your time and attention. And once you've done that, it becomes easy to push away those things that are not as important. And one of the things that I think is really important as part of the process, and I'm sure we'll touch on this as we go along, is not feeling guilty. I think where you get the harmony part in this, when I think harmony, I think peace. And where you get peace from is not having a sense of guilt. I believe that if you are doing the best you can, giving your time and attention to the things that are most important to you, there's no reason to have any guilt about what you're not doing. Trust that you are doing what you can. Give yourself grace and then let the rest of it go.
Absolutely. I agree. That grace is so important to us because a lot of us don't give ourselves the opportunity to say, right, today I'm going to rest.
Right.
It's, right. It's okay. But tomorrow I can work, or vice versa. So absolutely.
There's a time, and this is where rhythm comes in, right? There's a time for everything. And that's sometimes true. You may be working extremely hard. You're launching a product or a new service, and you have to be very intentional about what you're putting into it. And then there are other times when you can back off. It's like the seasons, right? We're in fall, we're rolling into winter. Spring is about growth and growing. And winter is about laying low, hibernating, chilling, right? And so if we would take some, our cues from the seasons, right? Instead of working against it, we could find ourselves in more of a balance or a flow state and not be constantly like having our brains whizzing.
You're right. That's true. That's true. And Coach Jody, what do you have to say on that?
I love what you and Whitney just shared about the word harmony. To me means you're doing what you love. And so when you have your priorities set and when you have your boundaries and everything, then I feel like you're in flow and you're loving your life. And it's really interesting because when I teach work-life balance, you hear so many different perspectives. To some people, they say, oh, well, here's what that means to me, that I have to give equal amount of time to different areas, right? So I'm at work for 8 hours, I'm sleep for 8 hours, I'm with the kids for 8 hours, but wait, there's no time for me or anything else. And as Whitney was just sharing too, you know, there'll be times in our life when different areas require that we give it more attention, energy, and focus, right? Because if we don't have a job, what are we focusing on? Right? If we're ill or our family is sick or somebody that we love, where are we giving our attention, energy, and focus? Or if our relationships aren't working out, right, we're consumed over there. And so one thing that I would like people to think about when it comes to balance, because I don't think that this perfect life balance can really be achieved. I think it sets us up for failure, and we're constantly on that, you know, treadmill of that thing. But what I'd like people to maybe reframe the word balance is as a verb. Kind of like when you're walking on a tightrope, right? We're constantly course correcting.
Right.
Yeah. Or when you're driving a car, you're constantly course correcting. So the way I see work-life balance is that we're constantly going to be adjusting as we go through life. Now, the key is when you notice you're off course, the key is not to get stuck there.
Right.
Because that's when it's real problem. And so, you know, when you're off course, you feel cranky, you feel overwhelmed, you feel exhausted. And so you don't want to get stuck there. And that's the time to stop and ask yourself, okay, so what can I do in this moment to bring me more in balance? So whatever that is, me time. And I want to leave it with this. So what does the flight attendant say when you're on the airplane and the oxygen mask is going to drop? What do they say you should do with it?
Cover yourself first before you help someone else.
Yourself, right? Yourself first.
That's right.
And so some people might say, oh, that's selfish. No, it's what we call self-care. Right. And I say self-care only means that I care enough about myself to want to take care of myself so that I can care for other people. So that's kind of what comes to my mind thinking about this whole work-life balance thing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And as you both were speaking, I'm always thinking of stuff. And so when you're talking about the driving, how you correct your course, because that's what overcorrecting can do, right? It can cause an accident, or undercorrecting, and it just throws you completely off balance, and then it takes time to come back. Even when Coach Whitney, when she was talking about that rhythm, I've always heard that rhythm, they say a lot of songs have the same beat, right? It's just that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or it's they speed up certain other things in it, but they all sometimes have the same undertone. So that's how life is. Sometimes you have to speed it up depending on where you are. And sometimes you can have that nice, slow groove and still accomplish what you need to accomplish and still be happy, right? And still achieve success. Yes. So Coach Cheryl.
Hey, thank you.
Hey.
So I have the balance, harmony. To me, is harmony is more achievable. Balance, I don't believe is achievable, because when you think about, you said it earlier, when you talk about words and how powerful words are, right, and what words mean to specific people. And when you start throwing these words out there, then people receive them based on their past knowledge of what that word represents. So right, when we think about balance, the definition of it is equal distribution, right? So how can we have equal distribution in all the 7 areas of our lives? Mm-hmm. So I focus more on integration, on actually integrating the things that you're doing that allowed you to be successful in one area of your life into the other area of your life. I think oftentimes what I've seen in some of my clients, what happens is you're trying to use a different mindset. You're trying to use a different skill set because you're separating personal from professional. And that's how we get caught up in, having these feelings of not being able to accomplish levels of success in certain areas. And that's because we've changed the game, right? We've literally taken it and said, well, wait a second, this does not work. So I need to handle this differently. But when you think about it, in reality, those skill sets that you use to allow yourself to become a director, to allow yourself to be a great team worker, team player, to allow yourself to be that individual that is great with creativity. Those skills are what got you to that level of success. So when you're looking at the other areas of your life to use those same skill sets, you'll start to see the same results. And so you're not looking for balance anymore. You're every day saying, I can improve.
Right.
And so for me, it's a mindset of improving every single day, having continuous improvement. And as you continue to use skill sets that allowed you to be successful into other areas, you'll start to see progress. You'll start to see things shifting, in your favor. And then you'll start to utilize those skill sets even more. And now you'll start to see different areas in your lives progressing because you've changed the mindset on how you feel about it and how you think about it. And so for me, it's achieving that level of integration,
right,
where you can utilize it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Right. So whether we are integrating, whether we're catching that rhythm, whether we are working on a balance, all of that plays into who you are as an individual, because we have each individual coach. And as you guys have heard, that everyone they're saying something different, but the same, right? And it's all working toward a more even keel you, right? A more flowy you, one that comes and knows how to ebb when it's time to ebb and to flow when it's time to flow, and just go with the to wave. And even with myself, I have had to learn that, because I used to beat myself up quite a bit for not accomplishing things. Oh, I had all these things on my to-do list. But, understanding that, okay, what came to interrupt my day needed my attention more, and that's okay. And that, as long as I continue on, I can continue to take those things off of my list and keep moving forward. And it's not making me a worse person, but hopefully it's making me a better person, because I know that I can still continue, I still can continue, and work toward my goals. It one day doesn't destroy my goals, and I can keep moving forward and still work on my task and get things done as I need to. And I feel bad about maybe losing what I call losing a day, because it's not really a loss if I got done what needed to be accomplished, right?
Absolutely. And I think it goes back to what Whitney and the other coaches have said also, and that's to give yourself some kindness, right? Yes. Not to feel so down on yourself because you didn't accomplish this. You didn't make it to every basketball game, or you didn't, you didn't make the cake personally, but you went and purchased the cake. Those types of things that make us feel as though we are less than what we're supposed to be doing. To give yourself some slack and just, forgive yourself and be able to move forward.
Yes, absolutely. And Coach Tara, I like to call you on and see what you have to say about this.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much in alignment with what the ladies have shared. And I
Yes.
think the one thing I would, offer to those who are watching is to not get caught up in, I say, like, sort of this vortex of feeling like they have, multitasking, because I think that's
Right.
where people get into trouble, quite honestly, is thinking
Yes.
that we have this thing where I think it's a misnomer. We really don't multitask well. The brain can only absorb one piece of information
Right.
at one time, and we set ourselves up to think that we can do all these things to achieve whatever that definition of success is that we have for ourselves.
Right.
And then we can easily find ourselves out of whack, and out of alignment, because we're trying to work too hard to get it. And so I personally like the term harmony better than balance. I just think I had gone to a conference last year, actually, in California. One of the ladies who did the presentation, she actually did her dissertation on work-life harmony versus work-life balance. And the research, according to what she had done at that time, was based on work-life harmony. And she gave a good visual about it when she described it. So I just felt like that aligned best with where I thought my mindset
Yes.
was. So I would just offer to people that, you allow yourself the grace and ease that we've already talked about here, but also not to get yourself caught up in this whirlwind of feeling like you have to go 100 miles per hour on every single goal that you have for yourself, because then you will fall into that place of where you're feeling guilty, right, about because you didn't meet the goal. So that's what I would offer.
Awesome. And that's true. That's true. I've had someone tell me when I was trying to do it all at one time and was so frazzled, and they're like, concentrate on one thing and do that one thing to the best of your ability, and then go to the next thing, like the eating the elephant, right, the one bite at a time, knowing that, okay, maybe I can do a little bit more today, but it's okay if I can do a little bit less, but concentrating and really seeing the progress, because that's what makes us feel better.
Right.
When we make progress and complete something.
Yeah. It's actually where the title of my book came from, The Power of 5%, because it was really about doing those small micro wins, one thing at a time. And then you will see yourself get to the bigger goal if you allow yourself that space to just say, this is what I can accomplish on this day, feel good about it, celebrate it, and move on to the next.
Absolutely. I agree. And last but certainly not least, Coach Gabby.
Hey. Hi. Oh my God, how can I beat these ladies? Just tell me, okay? They are amazing, aren't they? All of you. Yeah, so balance, for me, I had to learn it the hard way, okay? So I used to be one of those people when I became a single mom, when my husband passed. So I had a tough job and I had a little boy to take care of. So I used to be washing dishes, and I remember that I had to do something tomorrow. I would dry my hands, and then yellow sticky on the fridge, yellow sticky. Then one day I came across this book, The Power of Now, by Eckhart Tolle. I think you may have read it, all of you. I read that book on the train back and forth from work, and it changed my life. I started, if I'm washing dishes, I am washing dishes. I focus on that. When I'm cooking, I stop my mind from the other things. I do that. I decided as soon as I leave my job, I should never think about it. It was hard to train, but I did it. Yeah, that is it. So that's how I teach. And then finding harmony, balance and harmony, especially I work with a lot of mompreneurs. So they run a business from home. They have children to take care of. There is a husband who comes from work who expects food ready and all that stuff. So they always have this difficulty, and then they're cluttered. So the home is cluttered. Women have a tendency of shopping and shopping and shopping, which is a bad idea. That is, I know, you're not good for you. I used to be one, like I used to be a shopaholic. Anyway, but yeah, so they keep on buying, whether it's kitchen stuff, whether it's bedding stuff, whether it's clothes, they just buy, oh, but it's on sale. So what? You know, what is the point of having accumulating stuff, not making space? For me, the spiritual way that I teach declutter and feng shui is you have to leave space for new abundance to come to your life. And then finding balance and harmony also, when the relationship is cluttered at home, then there is something wrong in the house. That is the way I see it. That is the way I teach it. There is something wrong in the house. So here in my area, I do home visitations. So I can read the energy as soon as I step in the door. And then I know what they had to move and what to do. Otherwise, I do it over video as well. So then there is something in their home. They need to clear their bad energy, because then there is no harmony in the house, right? Like there is no harmony in the home. And when you're cluttered, your mind is not functioning at its best. That's how I see it, and it's a fact. And then it's not only about decluttering your home. You have to declutter your mind. You have to take, like the ladies, all my friends here have said, you need to take that time off for yourself, to sit by yourself peacefully or go for a walk. You need to do that. It doesn't matter if you're a mompreneur, you have children, you have a house, that you have to make time for you. Otherwise, you will like break down. The other thing that I find that people struggle from, mostly the women that I dealt with, is relationships. You have to get rid of relationships that do not serve you. It does not matter if it's a family member. It does not matter if it's a school friend. It does not matter of who. If anyone that you deal with on a daily, on a weekly basis, it's somehow leaving you on a negative energy, you need to wish them well and let them go. Yeah, you need to surround yourself only with positive people, people who will lift you up, and people who want to see you succeed. That is balance, and that is harmony for me.
Oh, that is so good. That was so good. And you are absolutely right. You know, I've heard of decluttering, you know, people declutter their closets, right? They declutter, we need to declutter our lives, we declutter our minds. And I've always appreciated, and it's so interesting that when you have this feeling, you would think you want it all the time, but there's nothing like coming home, and you're coming home to it clean. And I mean, it's just something about the just walking in, and like you said, with that space just open to receive you, right? That you automatically, it gives you a sense of peace. And you know, and and with feng shui, I think that, I mean, hey, I'm not a decorator or anything like that. But with feng shui, if I'm correct, it's about having the balance in your house where everything kind of moves, like from when you come in, moves.
Where you put in, where you, how your bed is located, and how you should sit, and how your office would be, and what your kitchen counter should look like. And it makes a lot of difference. And I also teach, you know, I am very much an essential oils fan, and I teach my clients how to use essential oils to remove negative energy. Especially like if you had a tough day, there are certain oils you can diffuse, or incense that you could use. Immediately you feel much lighter and much better. So
exactly. And that and it makes a difference. Just like all you ladies were saying, I know we're coming to the end of our first half hour and we're going to switch topics, but just like you were all saying, and everyone, I hope you in the audience, whether it's now or whether it's a replay, are just grabbing these nuggets now. These are some nice, awesome coaches. So, you know, take advantage of the masterminds that come up. I always do. I'm always receiving something because it matters. Every last thing that you each had to say just brought a different area of clarity, right? And it's even with from Coach Whitney with, okay, where, you know, how she prefers to see it, you know, and that's okay, because we have people that, you know, see things and they understand what Coach Whitney says completely. And it makes a difference. And then Coach Jody, when she came in and brought hers in, and they're like, oh, that's another revelation. I get it all, and I will be watching the replay because I'm a part of it. So I need to be in the right mind.
Kendra, can I want to just say something, that follow up on something that Jody said, which I think is really important. And
absolutely,
the goal is not to be balanced. And speaking to what Cheryl said, which is kind of like everything is in its equal proportion. It's not about being balanced. It's about balancing and finding, which if you ever watch a teeter-totter, right? And your kids or whatever, the thing is constantly shifting. It's not static, and it's not about being static. It's about going with the flow. And again, I think that's where the concept of rhythm and harmony comes in, because it is about flow. And then I think a couple of the ladies have spoken to this, is stop trying to find perfection in whatever it is you're doing, and to just let things be. Let it be. Right? To set a goal, have a vision, set a goal, and then move towards it, but be flexible in how it happens. And once we can get past this need to have everything be perfect, the rest of it starts to fall into place.
Right. Absolutely. I agree 100%. And just like you were saying with the ebb and flow, life is about give and take. You know, we give, we take, we bring, it just can't go one way, right? And that's where we get stuck, is when it starts to go one way. When that teeter-totter, something is so heavy on the other side that it don't move anymore. Now we got a problem. It's not going. It's not, the feng shui is off. Everything is out of balance. You know, there's no integration. There's just one side. And now we have a problem, and we need that to be either the load to be lightened. So now we got that, and we have to take, that we have that even back and forth. Right? It makes life better. And like you said, give yourself some grace. Understand you're not perfect. We are, everybody strives for perfection, but we're not perfect, and it's okay. It's okay, and it's okay to give yourself some grace. It's okay to understand that there'll be clutter, that there'll be times where, the one side is heavier than the other, and then be aware enough to want to shift that thing back, or to do what's necessary to start the teeter-totter back. I like that word, because I haven't been on one in forever. I am so afraid that I will be on the heavy side. But that's a good example, the ebb and flow. When you're at a beach, that the waves just come in and out, nothing is stopping it. It just flows, comes to you, and then it goes away, and you allow it to go and let it be. Is such a good comment. And I remember, was there a Beatles song? Let It Be. Somebody sang it, but somebody sang a song, and it was called Let It Be. I don't know who sings
the Beatles. It is the Beatles.
It's the Beatles, yeah.
I'm so proud of myself. I was not certain. That's such a timely statement. Just let it be, because certain things, if you try too hard to not, to make something be a certain way, you just creating frustration. You're creating frustration. Yes.
I just want to say, I think it's in the effort, right?
Yes.
It's in the effort of knowing that every day you're given another opportunity.
Right. That's true.
And what are you going to do with that opportunity that you've been given?
Right.
Are you going to look at your situation and try to find ways to complain, or to place blame, or to place regret on yourselves? Or are you going to look at it as a learning opportunity and say, okay, this is what I'm working on. I've been given another day. So what can I do to get better? Absolutely. What can I do to make the shift? So I think it's consciously being mindful of where you are, and where you want to go.
Absolutely. And that is a perfect segue to being grateful. Showing gratitude.
There you go. That's what we do. We make it easy.
No, that was really good. Because as soon as you said it, I'm like, that's being grateful, right? Understanding, one, giving yourself some grace, but two, being grateful for the things that you have accomplished, and acknowledging the things that you have accomplished, and giving them their due diligence as well. And not just, we tend to reflect more so on the things that we haven't done over the things that we have done, and actually saying, you know what? I know this was undone, but I'm so grateful and so glad that I accomplished something. and that's good. So, Ms. Cheryl, since we are on you already, yes, we
absolutely
talk to you about gratitude.
Wow, gratitude is just huge. You know, this group that we're in is a mastermind group, and we have a set of guidelines that we follow in order to have a mastermind session. And so, you know, in addition to each individual having their opportunity to speak, at the end of every session, everyone goes around and states what they are grateful for.
Awesome.
You know, and that's in anything, whether it be in life, whether it be in your personal relationships, whether it be in whatever you deem that, you know, you want to give attention to that. And so for me, it's making sure that you have the ability to recite what you're grateful for. Oftentimes we keep things a secret.
Yes.
You know, and we don't share our successes. We don't share those things that, you know, we're grateful for. And so nobody really knows, you know, what's going on in our lives. I had, I think we spoke about this earlier, several years ago, I had a New Year's Eve party. And one of the things that we did was we did what was called a blessings jar, where we actually, I got these jelly jars and we decorated them. And throughout the year, as things happen in your life, you write it down on a sheet of paper, you date it, and then you put it into your jar. And then at the end of the year, when, you know, December 31st, whatever, December 30th, that last day of the year, you literally sit down and you open up your jar. And you would be amazed how many of those little sheets of paper just kind of spill out over your desk. And as you're reading them, you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot that that happened. You know, I forgot that this even took place, because we're so focused on big things.
Yes.
We're so focused on monumental things, that those little things that kept us going, we often forget about. So for me, gratitude is that consciously being aware that things that have happened in my life, whether large or small, have happened to get me to that next phase, whatever your destiny is. Yes. And so being able to just stop and take a few moments, and, you know, just every morning, you know, I spend at least 5 minutes as part of that routine, right? Saying what you're grateful for that day. Right. And so there is so many different techniques to where people can literally show their gratitude, just to ensure that you don't forget. Right, because we're all moving a million miles a minute.
Yes,
but just to ensure that you just take a few moments, write it down in a journal or on a sheet of paper, and just document it so that you can look back and it comes back to you, and you realize that your life is moving forward, or you realize that you have friends in your life, or you realize that you have people that do support you. Because you're only focusing on those naysayers, and you forgot about the 2 or 3 people that said, great job, or, you know, how can I help? So it's just getting yourself to be able to see those things and not let them go past.
Absolutely. And I agree, because the thing is, though, if we tend to focus on that 1 or 2 naysayers and let them determine our day, and it's like, but you've accomplished so much, and you've done so many things. And like you said, if you don't take time to pay attention to those and see what you have accomplished, see how, you know, it lightens your, it just remember, that's the thing. Like, just remembering that I must be doing something right. This is happening right for me. This is happening. I'm having a bad moment, but that's what it is a moment, because I have so much to be grateful for. Because as I throw my head back and scream at the ceiling, I'm looking at lights that are on.
Yeah. You know, even during this pandemic, that we're in, when there's just so much disruption, so much negativity, there are still those elements of light that are shining through.
Yes.
Just to be able to witness those elements of light and not let them go past.
Right. And just not focus on just this one thing that happened that may not have been so good or so great, because we understand that, and, you know, but also being able to focus, as you said, on the bigger picture, which sometimes is the smaller things, right? It's the smaller things that matter the most. And I wanted to go to Coach Jody, because she said something that, and I'm so curious about, when she teaches about gratitude, that it's like a first aid kit. So Coach Jody, how is that? Can you help us understand that?
I knew you were going to ask that.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, I always teach that gratitude is the first aid kit, because you know what, whenever you have a headache, you reach for the aspirin.
Yes.
Well, whenever you notice that you feel bad for any reason, you're ticked off, you're sad, you're mad, you're whatever, you feel bad, if you would stop and build a quick little mental list, or get out a sheet of paper and just start writing all the things that are going well for you in your life.
Yes.
It's the fastest way to shift from a negative vibe to a positive vibe. Right. And think about it. When was the last time you were ticked off and grateful at the same time, right?
Right.
That happened. So that is how you can use gratitude in the moment, but you have to be deliberate about doing that. And trust me, I have gotten out that pad of paper, but you've got to be deliberate. When you're done writing, you are feeling so much better. Yes. And I'd also like to just quickly chat about why it's so important for us to really be feeling gratitude, because I know we're all grateful. Oh, hey, thanks for the compliment, or thanks for helping me out. But it's really about the feeling. And I want to take a quick second to talk about that, because that takes us back to the law of attraction, which I absolutely love to talk about and teach. And law of attraction, many of you may know, or if you don't, it's just simply this universal energy. It's a universal law, like the law of gravity. And the law of attraction says that whatever you're thinking about, talking about, and feeling strongly about, going to attract more of those situations to you. So if you were being deliberate about what Cheryl was talking about, of finding things to be grateful for, if you were being deliberate about doing it, well, guess what? Law of attraction is going to bring you more experiences and people and situations for you to be grateful for. So that's how it works. And so we want to be deliberate. And that's why it's really important to have a gratitude practice, however that might look for you. It might mean two minutes in the shower in the morning, because that's all the time you have. Like Cheryl does, she has a practice in the morning. I want to show you what I do. Here's my gratitude journal. Yes. Every morning, I list 10 things that I'm grateful for. Right? Every morning. I think I'm up to like 3,900 or something. If I'm not doing that, I'm doing a different type of practice. But I like to do it in the morning, because it kind of like it primes your brain, as Whitney likes to talk about it, and it kind of locks in the positive thoughts and feelings. But so I go about just like counting my blessings 1 through 10. I'm so happy and thankful and grateful for. And then I don't just close the book and move on. I go back to I'm so happy and thankful for, and then I write why. Because when you write why you're happy and thankful and grateful for, right? You know, I'm so happy and thankful, grateful for my husband. Great. Why? Oh, well, he took me on this great date night. He did this, he did this. And that really gets you deeper feeling of gratitude, and it's the feeling that really accelerates the magic to your life.
Absolutely. That's so good.
Yeah, I always say that that gratitude is like your bridge to abundance. It's it's really magical.
It is. I when you were speaking, I was thinking about that saying, what you think about, you bring about. Like if you, you think about, you bring about. And so it's very important about being extremely intentional about how we guard our thoughts, and how we, take notice when we are heading in the wrong direction and saying, okay, I'm not feeling this way. But if you start thinking and remembering what you have to be grateful for, it does change. And I'm going to Coach Tara, because she was saying that we're being intentional and being mindful about, how we handle our energy and when it comes to being grateful. So Coach Tara.
First I'll say I think Jody just challenged my gratitude game. So I got
me too.
I got to step it up. And I really like the part that you shared about the why, because I think that is absolutely a deeper level that really does challenge you to really sit in it much longer. So I really like that. So thank you, Jody. I'm going to take that one. I guess for me, I have a similar practice. Like I make sure even before I get out of bed that I do sit there, take some time just to think about my blessings and what I'm grateful for. And
Right.
sometimes they're the same things, and sometimes there's some different things that come up as well when I do that. But I guess, I think about, I go back to my early beginnings, right? I'm the youngest of 10 in my family.
Ooh,
And
okay.
so for me, we grew up with very, humble beginnings,
Mhm.
and for me, regardless of all the things that I may have achieved in my life, there's absolutely been, for me, always just being grateful for those basic needs, because
Yes.
not having the things that I have in my life now, in my own family, it was more about, do you have everything you need, right? I
Right.
had everything I needed, as a kid. And so to me, to attain, going to college and going to graduate school, getting married and owning a home and having all these things is great. And that was just like, it was just like icing on the cake as life
Yes.
was progressing for me. But I always remain in that place of being humble about what I have and where I've what I've attained, because I just always stayed rooted in how I was raised and those values that my
Yes.
parents taught me about having enough. And it's great to always strive for more, in terms of like that abundance mindset, and how I choose to get there, just like we all are certified trainers. But when we talk
Yes.
about like that success, it's so individualized to that person and what
Yes.
they think success means for them. And I think what that might mean is the same thing, I think, when it comes to gratitude, right? Because everyone has a different definition of that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I said, and Jody challenged me more to think a little more deeply about it and how I will build some other things into my routine. So that's kind of what I think about. And I work in social services, and I see daily and hear
Mhm.
daily, the things that people do not have. And these are just
Right.
basic
Right.
needs. These are basic
Yes.
needs that they don't have. So I'm extremely grateful for where I've been able to grow in my life and have that abundance, and to ensure that I do good things with that, right? To
Exactly.
other people. So, basic needs is kind of the starting place for me. And it's, my things that I always kind of always see their way in my morning routine with gratitude. So
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's so good. And ladies and gentlemen of the audience, the coaches are grabbing nuggets too. Just let y'all know. Because Coach Jody is challenging everybody over here.
I don't want to ever know
It's
it all.
so good, right? Because when you start thinking, it's one thing to just say, "Oh, I'm grateful," but when you really think about what it means,
Right.
and like you say, take time to sit in it and say, "Wow," because as you start to write more about it, it helps you to remember, right? It's bringing more back to your memory and like, oh my goodness, this happened, and oh my goodness, that happened as well, and it definitely helps you to start your day off in such a better mood. If you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, start talking about what you're grateful for, and it'll the wrong, like I said, it'll go right side up again, right? Coach Gabby, what would you like to say, add to that?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, again, Jody gets to beat me because I play, I call them the power of five, which every night before even considering of going to bed, I would write the 5 most important things that I have to do the next morning.
Yes.
Every morning I wake up, a cup of tea, and then I write the 5 things that I'm grateful for. Not 10, Jody. So she's right. Anyway, so for gratitude for me started with my mom. I think I was about 9. My uncle gave me $5. He lived in a different province, so he came in and he gave me $5. So I was not very happy with the $5. So, and then my mom is looking at me, what's the matter? I told her he only gave me $5. And she said to me, be grateful that he gave you $5. He didn't have to.
Right.
If you don't respect the $5, you will never respect the $50. Don't respect the $50, you will never respect the 500. So be careful, she told me. She was a tough cookie, my mom. I will never forget that, right? And then I always was one of those people, I would accomplish something and I don't take time to enjoy. I didn't take time to enjoy what I accomplished. I was on the next plan. She sat me down one day, legs crossed. She goes to me, sit down. And she goes like, you need to take it easy. Because if you try to take the steps, 4 steps at a time, you're gonna fall down and break. She goes to me, take 1 step at a time. You just came back from a vacation. Why don't you take time to enjoy the memories instead of thinking where you wanna go next? So those things really were ingrained in me, right? Now I am grateful. The other thing that I learned from her, may she rest in peace, Mama, anyway, from her is, if you want to be happy, look at people that do not have what you have.
Yes.
Do not always look at people what they have that you don't.
It's more, yes.
Look at those people who cannot walk, who are walking, who are begging in the streets, children with no parents, no food. There are kids who can't even have 1 decent meal a day.
That's true.
So those things like were ingrained in me. So gratitude is huge to me. Now here in Canada, I don't have family, right? All of them are scattered everywhere except Canada. So I have friends.
Right.
I am telling you, even if I don't have sisters at all. So even if I had blood sisters, they wouldn't have been as good as the kind of friends that I have.
Right.
So I am forever grateful that God granted me with people who have my back all the time, who are there for me any day of the minute, any minute of the day. I have a great job. I have a great mastermind group here, as you know. And yes, we have to count our blessings, because what we think about, what we're grateful for, we bring about in our life.
Oh yes, I agree. That's so good, Coach Gabby. And as you were speaking about it, I remember myself being told, and I don't know who told it to me, but I still remembered it. They were saying, on your worst day, you say a prayer for someone else, because there's always someone out there that's having a worse day than you.
Yes, absolutely.
And I have had times, even as a single mom myself, my children were small, and I had such a bad day, and I was like, Lord, if there's somebody out there having a worse day than this, if someone is out there having a worse day than this, bless them, just bless them, because it's just ridiculous. But it makes you, like you say, instead of always looking, because a lot of times we look at what we don't have.
Yeah.
And we look at what others have. Oh, I don't have the nice car or the nice home, maybe. But we are but someone else is looking at us, saying the same thing. Oh, like you said, the person without legs, if only I had legs. Right? Oh, the person with, no arms, if only I had arms, I'll be so grateful. And a lot of them are still it's like being grateful for what you have, because there's always something to be grateful for. There's always like the silver lining to a cloud. Now that silver may be real thin, but it's there. If you look for it. Sometimes it may seem like it's real thin, like where's the silver lining, you guys? But it's there if you look for it, and it's all about your mindset. So we are going to come to Coach Whitney to get her take on that as well. Yes.
Thank you. So, I was thinking about and taking a cue from Cheryl, this thought of what the definition of gratitude is, right? Mm-hmm. And so we tend to think it is about like just being thankful or saying thank you, and it absolutely is, but it goes deeper than that, and it is about how it helps us to evoke a feeling or produce a feeling of lasting positivity. And I think back to when I was, when my son was young, and I decided that I was going to make him a grateful person. And so it started with just getting him to, as a matter of course, just say thank you, right? In the beginning, it was just whenever someone did something for him, to say thank you. And that over time, it would blossom into something else.
Right.
And I think about, and this is not to bring this down, but my son passed away a little over 15 years ago. And at his service, I remember being overtaken with this need to get up and speak. And usually, you know, the closest people to the person who passed away does not get up at a funeral to speak. Right? Everyone else speaks. Mothers don't speak, fathers don't speak, husband, wife generally doesn't do that. And I just felt this overwhelming need to get up and speak. And I was divorced from my son's father. And when I got up to speak, and I don't remember everything I said, but I remember saying, even knowing how things turned out, I was grateful for the opportunity to be my son's mother and to have spent time with his father, because he was here because of that. And when I think about, you know, days that have happened since then, and when I used to work for someone else and had bad days, I would ask the question, did you have a bad day, or was it a bad 5 minutes, right? And it comes down to getting some perspective. And all the ladies have talked about this. This is a perspective about what's going on. And it's not always about comparing, you know, whether or not someone has it better or someone has it worse, but it is about getting some perspective so that you are not constantly looking at what you don't have. And again, as I think you said this, Kendra, specifically like paying attention to what you do have. And, you know, if we're breathing, right, we've got so much more, regardless of what's going on, so much more than so many other people, particularly here in the United States, as bad as things may be. And, you know, some of the tragedies that have happened, but we're not alone in that. And so there is, as you said, this silver lining, and to find what is good in whatever. And so I had one other thing I wanted to say, and of course my phone went dark. So sort of this, no matter what is going on, and as part of your gratitude practice, and Jody talked about, you know, 10 things each day in the why, which is so very important, the why piece of that. And whether it's 5 or 10 or 3 a day in the morning and the evening, whatever, however you choose to do it, the bottom line is to have a gratitude practice of some sort, because there are positive things that happen for you. Gratitude helps with your health. It helps with your happiness. It helps with your relationships, and just operating from a place of gratitude in everything you do enhances your life. And so as much as it is about saying thank you to people for what they've done, as much as it is about, you know, being thankful for things, it makes our lives better to be grateful. And that's why it's important to have a gratitude practice.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I agree with all of that. And then some.
And then the way I see it, look at us, like all 6 of us are healthy enough to be doing this right now. That is like, I'm so grateful for this, that the fact that we're all healthy, the fact that we're doing this work together. So I'm grateful. Thank you.
So good. Yes, and thank you, ladies. I know we reached the top of our hour. Boy, time flies when you're having fun and when you're picking up nuggets.
Seems like we just got together.
Come on, another hour. No, I'm just playing. But when you start talking about these topics, that's when you told me, Coach Cheryl, about these topics, I was like, not a problem, because what do we not have to be grateful for? What can we talk about when it comes to understanding the importance of having that ebb and flow, that rhythm and flow, that integration, all those things that everyone has used, those different terms, whether it's harmony, whether it's balance, work-life balance. we can talk about that for a long time, because a lot of that is very relevant in our lives. And that is something that we constantly not struggle with, but we go back and forth with. And, you know, that's the challenge that a lot of us have as people, right? Giving ourselves grace, remembering that we can be grateful in all things, and that there's always that silver lining. There's somewhere, there's something good, right? It may not look good, may not feel good, but it's good. There is good. Good comes from it if we will allow it. And that what we think about, we can bring about, because you sit and you focus on the negative, then that's what's gonna come, you know. And you can change your room around, have the function, you know, but, you know, but these are different things you can do to better your life. So thank you, ladies, so much. And as we wrap up, we definitely want to come back around one more round for any last parting words you have, and to get how to actually document how people can get in contact with you. And we'll start with Coach Whitney.
Oh, thank you. So I just want to, thank you, Kendra, for moderating this discussion and keeping us on time, on task. And the ladies, it is always a pleasure to work with you. I would just say that as we are rolling into the holidays, and 2020 has been a challenging year.
Oh, yes.
Right? Regardless of, you know, what's going on, different things for different people. Just remember that it doesn't have to be perfect. And we should not, I'm going to say should not, we can choose to not have things have to be a particular way. And if we do that and allow ourselves the ability to be flexible and to operate with some grace, forgiveness and grace, that it will help to smooth things out. And just as we're going through the holidays, you know, don't feel a need to have to do everything for everyone, to say it's okay. And then just be grateful for what is, and not be so focused on what isn't happening perfectly the way you want. I will put, and I think all of us will put our contact information.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Thank you.
But I can, and with Shifting into Action, you can find Shifting into Action here on Facebook. And so that would be one way to get in touch with me, or through LinkedIn. And the rest of it I will put in the comments.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Coach Whitney. Coach Jody.
I feel like I'm on Hollywood Squares or something. Oh, yes. This is so much fun, and I love the platform. And it's really cool because everybody brought such interesting perspectives, right, to the conversation. Right. I've loved it. And thanks big time, Kendra. We really appreciate you being here, and we hope you can join us again. And thank you everybody for joining us. And I wanted to give a quick little shout out about a great tool that will help you in gratitude. Oh, yeah. This is called The Magic, and it's written by Rhonda Byrne. And she also wrote and did the video, The Secret.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you saw that. But what this is, it's all about gratitude. And to Whitney's point about how gratitude can magically change your relationships, your health, your overall health and well-being and joy, she gives you a practice for all of those situations when you're feeling negative, when you're feeling that about your relationships, when you're feeling, so she gives you a lot of different practices to help gratitude become a habit in your life and to help rewire your brain so you're geared more towards that gratitude. So something everybody might enjoy. So thanks again, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Jody. Coach Tara.
Yeah, first I'd like to say thank you. Even the dogs in the back agree with this.
I know.
Yeah. Puppies, that is so
yes, we love this.
That's right. Bring them in. They even know about it.
They know.
So that's right. Look at the baby, right?
There we go. Oh my goodness.
So I think what I would say is that, you know, I'm grateful to have had this conversation. I learned things as well here. And, you know, that's the beauty of just being in an environment with people who are doing different things to help you grow. And I hope those of you out there will continue to do the same, you know, expand your horizons, expand how you think about things. You know, we talked about being fluid and flexible and grace and ease, and all those things really, really do lead back to that harmony or that balance, however you might see it. And, you know, when I think about how big this world really is, we are just so minuscule in it.
Right.
And if we really just lighten up, you know, seriously, we just lighten up a little bit about how we view things, or, you know, if we were, you know, grew up with a certain value or belief, we don't have to stay wedded to that forever. You know, we can learn and grow from it, and value each other's differences, value each other's perspectives on things. And I think that's where you can really find a nice balance, or find the rhythm, you know, that works best for you. So, you know, so thank you, Kendra, for facilitating the conversation, and it's been great. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you. And Coach Gabby.
Hello. Okay, so number one, I love your energy, Kendra. I love your smile. Thank you so much for helping out. Thank you for introducing her to us, Cheryl. Thank you, everybody. Always, like, I learned something from each and every one of you. Yeah, so my advice, my last word would be, take it one day at a time. We're like going through very tough times. Like I think my friends here said, it's been a very strange, should I call it, or tough year for a lot of us. And we just have to have faith and take it one day at a time. Yes. And never to lose hope, and never to lose our willpower. So that is my thing. Take it one day at a time. Declutter your home. It's a good time to declutter right now. Declutter your relationships, declutter your time. And I want to talk about, I'm going to promote my book, if you don't mind, ladies. So I am also a spokesperson. I am totally against discrimination. So this is a book. I have people also who've shared their stories with me. It just launched last week. I will put the link down there. And if you see anyone that's being mistreated in the neighborhood, in schools, or in the workplace, please stand up and speak up.
Yes. Thank you. And congratulations on your book. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, yes. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Coach Cheryl.
Hi, those were my dogs.
Yeah, bring the dog back. Bring the dog back.
Well, one is that way, one is that way. So that's how they do it. This has been great. Thank you, Kendra, for stepping up to the call and saying absolutely. Totally appreciate you doing that for us. And of course, coaches, I love you guys all tremendously. You know, if I had any parting words, it would be when you think about gratitude, you know, go deeper than the surface. Oftentimes we stop at the surface. We get the surface dwelling, right? We do the surface dwelling. So go a little deeper. And what I've found is that when I have an opportunity to go deeper, then I find room for abundance. And I find room for opportunities. I find room for possibilities. All of these things happen when you're in tune and you're out of your own head.
Yeah, agreed.
So I would definitely encourage people to just think about, you know, what does that next term of abundance mean, right? We talked about harmony and balance and integration, but what is abundance? What does abundance mean? That's truly goes back to what Jody is talking about with the law of attraction. And what you seek, you need to exude.
Yeah.
So I am excited to be able to be here. Again, my name is Cheryl Mays from Rise and Shine CF, which is a consulting firm where we help to train better leaders, better processes, and better employees through lean transformation. And I am just excited to be here. I'm overly grateful that we have made it through this year, and just looking forward to the abundance of 2021.
Absolutely.
So there are so many great things coming down the pike. So guys, if you're in this Facebook group, stay here because we got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you so much, ladies. And just my cup overfloweth, as they say. But that's what's so important about being a part of groups just like this, the Reset for Success, because that's what you get out of the masterminds. You know, this is my first one, but I feel reset. I'm ready. But it gives you a lot of food for thought. Groups like this, the mindset groups, where it's especially topics like this, as we are moving into a new year. Coach Whitney reminded us, like, there are seasons for everything. And a lot of times when you're in this season, you're really preparing for the next one. So this topic was such a timely topic as we are preparing. You know, we're thinking about being grateful. So that's preparing your mindset. You're thinking about changing your atmosphere, decluttering, moving unnecessary things. Certain things don't have to go with you into the new year, right? Coach Tara said, hey, just because you grew up one way or grew up with a set of values, that don't mean they have to stay that way. Our goal is to grow, right? As spring comes and we start to plant, you know, we're planting seeds now, so then when spring comes, positive things grow up so that we can be prepared, like Coach Jody said, for the law of attraction, to welcome the right stuff into our lives and to be ready for that, and understanding that, yes, this year was very interesting. They started out saying each month was a chapter of Jumanji, right? Dum, 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 dum. You know, you're waiting for the drums. You're like, oh my goodness, what's happening this month? And preparing yourself for, unfortunately, sometimes the worst. But guess what? That's not the only thing we can prepare for. We can also prepare and take this time to prepare ourselves for the best, right?
Yes.
We're getting ready to walk into these holiday seasons, and sometimes, you know, we had a lot of loss, but guess what? It's not all loss. Some of it was gain, and we can be grateful and concentrate on the gain that we had, and decide how we're going to take that gain with us into the next year, so that we successfully. This year was. Uh-oh, is that me? Is that me on replay? But yeah, so at any rate, we're not going to hold you any longer, our audience, whether you're listening live or on replay. If you have any questions, definitely check the comments. Each of these amazing coaches will have their information there, whether it's in the books that they mentioned that you may want to look into, that will help impart into your life, and that you can share this presentation with others, so that they invite them to the group so they can learn, so we can be here learning together, growing together, becoming better together. That's what it's all about. And so no matter which way you see your harmony, as long as you have that ebb and that flow, give yourself some grace and be grateful for it all.
Yes.
We'll be all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You have
Thank
a great
you.